FAnboy Modeling School. FAnboy Modeling School.
Yo, how are we?
Welcome to FAnboy Modeling School. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing absolutely capital. How are you?
I'm doing capital now that I'm here. I like that you said capital.
Capital. I'm bringing back some of that old-timey English. Real quick, we get into all the announcement shows. You know what show my wife has been watching, Mrs. Hold Up, the lovely Mrs. Hold Up?
What?
Mad Men.
Oh, that is my favorite show. She likes it, right? Which means you've been watching it.
No, I haven't. I've caught like tidbits in here and there, but yeah, I actually I the little bit I saw, I enjoyed it. It's funny, the first time we tried to watch it, I could not get into it at all. I remember telling you, I was like, this is boring.
When I first saw it, I was like, this show is too adult for me. I'm a child. I'm a child.
I am a small being. What's going on? Roll it out, man.
Yo, guys, welcome to FAnboy Modeling School, your premier podcast and stream that talks about nerd culture, pop culture, and everything in between. I am the Fat Mantis, and I'm here with
Steve, your boy, the curmudgeon.
That's right, and we are the hostess with the mostest.
Oh,
yeah, and then also, guys, not only should you like, share, and subscribe, feel free to leave a comment, particularly a spicy or salty comment. I love salt. I put it all over my shit, and I want to hear it from you.
Also, if you're in a live stream right now in YouTube, jump out for a second. Don't leave the stream, but if you just hit up on that arrow, you can actually like the stream. Helps with the algorithm. Do that with all your favorite streamers who are on YouTube. And for Twitch, you know, anything you can spare, bits, Prime subs, they're free. Not the bits, of course, but we enjoy the love and it helps keep this engine rolling. Before we get started, I want to make sure if anyone wasn't there, a big announcement happened last Thursday on RequestBox Live. I have turned over the reins to Cincy Star full time for RequestBox and Booty Poppin' Shakin' Friday. He is the permanent host over on those shows on the Hold Up TV, and already doing an amazing job. So make sure you tune in on Thursday nights and Friday nights to support Cincy Star. And we got some other announcements coming from the Hold Up TV, and then, you know, we got some joint stuff happening between Mantis and myself.
It's coming July 1st. Mark the calendars, guys.
July 1st. Mark the calendar. Mark the calendar.
Hell yeah, my man.
Pubs, welcome in.
Welcome in. Yeah, we've got a much love to Hannah Banana HD. We've got Lainey O. We've got Princess Bex, Public Friend, the Shaolin Ice Boxer, and many, many more. Thank you. I'm sorry if I missed you in the stream. I'm kind of blind, so I can't really read the names. I just guess who's in here at any given time.
Yeah, I just start saying stuff. I'm like, shout out to Obama, Michelle, Oprah, put the sandwich down.
Eric Trump. Wait, what?
What? Did my first commentary stream all by my bizzle last night. Hope you had a good time in that.
That was a very good one. Yo, good work, man.
Nerve-wracking. If you guys don't know, Mantis has been trying to help me do commentary over stuff for a while. When I first came on SchOoL, I was not doing RequestBox Live. I was doing MMA and tech commentary, and Mantis and Gray were the only ones that would show up.
Well, yo, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to play you right now, but you seemed like a natural last night. But like 2 years ago when you started, you were not natural at all.
No, I was horrible.
I was trying to avoid those words, but yes. And so you've grown as a streamer and a critiquer and a shit talker. So I feel you've come the distance, my brother.
Well, everyone knows my favorite streamer is Mantis. You know, shout out to the Spoon Days. Great shit. Love the road trip. But before we really get into the show, I gotta give everyone here their flowers. That means congratulations. DJ Eddie said something, he came through a while ago, and it's just great that we've all stuck around, political beliefs and all that shit aside, that we're all fam and we all hang out, we all kick it, and that's dope. And also I want to give a shout out to, you know, my spiritual uncle Star Boss Hog. He's doing something that I absolutely hope that I can do with Mrs. Holdup one day. He's on a road trip across the country right now, or across Florida. And man, road trips just seem like so much friggin' fun without kids. Like he's driving around, just going from place to place, no agenda, no schedule. And I think that's what I loved about your trip when you went down to Virginia. I was like, man, this shit is crazy. Who's going to bed? Lainey's going to bed?
Are you Lainey, what are you doing, yo?
Lainey, don't go to bed.
The fun just started.
Week. Yeah, it just seems like so much fun, man. It just I mean, you almost got murdered in Virginia, but
I did, but it made for a good stream.
It did. It
just
absolutely.
The stream afterwards, oh man. The adrenaline's pumping. You're not sure if you're gonna live the night, and you're just streaming away. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I would put some background music on, but I don't know if it's gonna get popped. There. Got a little background.
I like that though.
There we go. A little background music. All right, what are we talking about tonight, man?
Oh my god, we got a lot to talk about. First thing I need to talk about is the major thing I need to talk about is Obi-Wan Kenobi, or whatever monstrosity they have on Disney Plus, because it is falling short of, well, pretty much every human's expectations. But they also did some shady things. Disney is the king of doing shady things to keep their brand nice and neat. And we're going to discuss what heinous acts they've done to preserve the name of that show. Right. Next, there's a little thing called swatting. That's when you call the cops or the bomb squad or whoever to a certain spot. And two prominent, I guess I would say conservative YouTubers were swatted on the same night, and they're boys. So obviously that was a message.
Wow.
Right. And when you guys find out who they are, you're either going to think it's the funniest thing in the world, or you're going to think it's tragic. You're going to be like, those poor men. But some of you, like public, are going to be snickering. Now we need to talk about the monstrosity that is Joker 2. Joker 2 is coming out. We are all very excited, but something was released today. Two pieces of information that will make us think twice about whether this is a good idea or not.
Okay.
And then finally, we've got the words, and I want us to play them here on this show. Amber Heard's got something to say.
Oh yeah.
And when you showed me this clip, you were the one who showed me this clip. I couldn't believe it. I can't. The audacity of some humans,
publicists. I tried to hire Public as my manager and my publicist. I also told Public I will never give up on that endeavor, but I understand Public has dreams of their own and they want to pursue those. But if Public was my publicist and I was in the type of shit that Amber Heard was in, I know Public would say, Steve, I'm going to need you to tone that shit down and not look into the cameras and say anything at all. Like, for real. RM, welcome in. I want to do honorable mention. Did you have any more topics before I do honorable mention?
No, those are our major four for the night.
Okay, so here's the thing. Honorable mention. I have not, as of today, watched Ms. Marvel. But I am surprised by the teeny bopper positive response that this show is receiving from a lot of people. But your man friggin' Young Ripper was like, why is this show a thing? And I'm a Khan fan in the comic books. I like later Khan when they weren't trying to replace Spider-Man with her. I know I can't prove that that's what they were trying to do, and I think that's where they're heading in the MCU. They want to bring in another Spider-Man like figure. I do love, in the comics, I love her interaction. Mala Khan, is it pronounced Amala or Amila? Kamala Khan. I do love in the latest one of the later arcs, the King in Black. She had an arc, a very brief arc with Miles Morales, and I love their interaction. I think they make a great team up duo. So I'll be watching that after this. Also, another honorable mention.
Before you go any further, I want to talk Ms. Marvel for a quick second. So I understand what's going on, and I think Public has hit the nail on the coffin, if that's the phrase.
Right.
That it is for the kids, and what it is Kevin Feige wants to expand the Marvel universe, not just for old fanboys like you and me.
Right.
Because we buy more tickets than anyone, but now they want to give everyone that option. And so, for instance, RM, it says it's currently the best reviewed MCU property. Suck it, haters. Well, actually, that's not actually true. I've actually seen that analyzed. And so it is true on Rotten Tomatoes. However, that's the review of only 5 reviewers. There's only 5 professional reviews up there to give it such a good ranking. Like, for instance, as opposed to like Spider-Man you know, Spider-Man's last movie, No Way Home, which had like 80 reviewers and it's still in the 90s.
Right.
So that's not a fair comparison right there. But also
Right.
another thing is if you go on IMDb, it doesn't have a good score at all. And that's based on anyone can vote, not just the professionals. I bet it's amazing. I will only watch it if I have the time
to watch it.
If I have the time, if nothing going and I'm ready, I can actively watch something. I'll be like, I got an hour. I'll watch Ms. Marvel. Lately, I haven't had it, but it's not high on my list because it looks so kiddie.
It does look kiddie, but like I've told you time and time again, man, the MCU is not driven by us hardcores, but by casuals. They are the ones that, you know, I believe the metrics show. I always thought that it was the hardcore that saw it multiple times. Apparently, on the weekend, families go see the same movie over and over again if they have the time to do it.
Well, you know, like when you have with your children, I know your children, when they like something, they'll watch it over and over and over and over
again. And that's what they were banking on when they were selling those digitals on Disney Plus. They watched, what is that, Raya?
Right.
They still watch it, bro. We paid for that shit when it came out, and my kids watch it all the time. Shout out to Raya, man. That movie is, I always catch something a little bit different every time I watch it.
Did you finally catch the fact that those two girls are lesbians?
I did not catch
because
that.
It's in there, bro. It is absolutely.
Stop shitting everyone.
If anyone in the chat wants to chime in, it's not saying anything about any type of particular people. I just think they were queer coded. I think is the phrase.
Okay, there was some tension.
I think those girls really liked each other.
It's another honorable mention. Amanda and I have talked about this, and I talked about it with Gray when you guys came through and I was still doing tech reviews. And remember, about a year ago now, I said that Discord was going to make a power play to become the next big streaming platform. And anyone in their own Discord servers might have noticed that they rolled out a feature, very peculiar feature, but why would they do it? In voice chat, you can have text now. I mean, in video calls and a VC, there's a sidebar for chat. Why would Discord be doing something like that?
Because it's going to be taking over Sony exclusive streaming. Instead of being able to stream on the PS network, you're going to have to connect it to Discord, right?
Yes.
That's what it seems like.
No, so here's my prediction. Like, obviously, there was the Sony merger whole thing. I got to check and make sure where that's at. I haven't been following Bloomberg lately because, everything's very depressing right now with inflation. I actually unfollowed Bloomberg, the news network. I was getting bombarded with the most depressing articles, and I was like, I can't.
It's anything money related you want to avoid right now, and I hate it because my computer forces like stock information on me. So if I look down, like right next to the clock, it tells me the weather, and then it's like, oh, Dow Jones down 57,000 points.
You're gonna die.
And then it flashes starvation.
But here's the thing, man. If Discord, so I want to say this in comfort for everyone here, right? Anyone that has their own server, I want you to imagine for a second if the beta version of a streaming version of Discord came out and how that would play out. If Sony integrates it and removes that trash ass PSN network shit where it's just, I got to do that, and they have Discord, imagine being able to monetize your servers. Now, a lot of people do have monetized servers and they've found a way to monetize it. But imagine if you were getting paid for click revenue.
Right, like a challenge to Twitch's supremacy.
Yes, and we need that to diversify, man, because YouTube has decided they're not going to change their UI. They haven't said this publicly. They're like, screw you guys. You either stream here or you don't.
Yo, so you're absolutely right on that, because YouTube in general, it's old school. It was the first. It's like the Coca-Cola of video, and so they don't feel they have to change.
Right.
People have to come to them for the time being. If they start having like a Netflix moment when they're losing stock, then they'll be like, okay, maybe we should switch up. But right now they have no reason to.
That's 100%. There's nothing to challenge them.
But I think.
Go ahead.
Oh, real quick, I just think PS. I actually do think PS will eliminate its streaming system on the PS network. And when you say, "Oh, I want to stream a game," it's going to say link it to a Twitch Discord account.
Yep.
And they're going to kind of force every PlayStation kid to engage in the Discord scene.
Well, that's what they were going to be doing. So shout out to an RIP, the Mixer. Mixer, listen, anyone here that's from SchOoL, if you ever feel displaced, I want to tell you about the beautiful community over on Mixer. And I'm not being sarcastic. I spent some time with those folks over on Mixer. And man,
is it still around?
No, they
okay.
Most of those guys went to Facebook. I forgot what the swap was there. But I went on Mixer, and that was owned by Microsoft. And Microsoft's big thing was they were going to roll Mixer into the new console rollout. So it's like, you would have it built into your Xbox, integrated, and you can watch your favorite streamers and blah, 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 blah. Great community over there at Mixer. I was really hoping that they were going to give Twitch a run for their money, but for some reason they thought it was a good idea to sign, Ninja to an exclusive.
Paying more money than they had.
Didn't make any sense. And I like Shroud. I love Shroud as a streamer. He's a great game player, competitor, all around good guy. Think you would love FAnboy if he came through. This was not the best marketing move or business move on their part.
Right.
Discord, keep an eye on it. Remember, the curmudgeon told you now. I don't know if it's going to be this year. I don't know if it's going to be next year, but I guarantee you're going to get an update at some point, and the UI for Discord is going to change ever so slightly, but noticeable enough where you're like, oh shit, they're really making a push.
Yeah. So don't delete your servers. No one delete their servers.
Exactly.
You're gonna need that shit in the future.
And that was the problem with Green Room, right? I told everyone from the top of the mountain. I was, when we all made the move, I was like, don't bail ship, just be consistent. Fucking sign that letter when they were offering to monetize us, those stingy sons of bitches.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking about it, and I actually do miss audio only streaming, and I do kind of miss Green Room to an extent.
Oh, I was thinking about that the other day. If it wasn't full of scoundrels that rip off every idea that isn't their own, I would return tomorrow.
Yeah, no, we met some wild people in there. Like, it's so funny that like every app has its own community and its own sense. So you're gonna meet like wild people on SchOoL, but you're gonna meet a different breed of wild people on Green Room.
Wait, Lane says, "Hello, is that directed towards me?" Which part?
Oh, the don't delete your server. Yes, that was directed towards you, but it was directed to everyone, really, but mostly.
Don't delete your server. I like reading the morning affirmations. I want you to know, folks. I may not comment on everything in everyone's Discord. Delaney, I read the affirmations. I read that stuff, and I enjoy it. So
that's funny. That's funny, Steve. I assumed you'd think it was it was anti-Christian or something, and you're like, "Bah, humbug."
I don't have anything against affirmations. I have something against people with crystals trying to fucking blow dust in my eyes.
Well, you're definitely going to see that in Laney's server, but that's a story for another day. They're going to be selling you crystals. They're going to be selling you readings of shit. He's like, so I know this random gypsy who wants to read your tea leaves. That's the type of person you run into in a Lane server.
Oh, wait, on another honorable mention, did anyone hear about so tonight I'm coming at conservatives. You guys are always, people are like, Steve, you never come at conservatives, but tonight I got smoke for conservatives for honorable mentions. I want to line you guys up. All my conservative friends are like, oh, Steve, there's no such thing as white supremacy anymore. The KKK is dead. Well, guess what just happened? The feds stopped some psychopaths from friggin' doing some nonsense at an LGBTQ.
Oh, actually, I want to give you pushback on this. I want to give you pushback.
What? What's the pushback, you racist?
I mean, so the idea is, were they just going to protest the parade, or were they going to do violence? And so I don't believe weapons were found on them, but they were wearing military-style stuff.
No weapons were found. No
weapons were found. And so the question is, their lawyers are going to argue they were just there to protest.
But
which means if they crack down on it, that is against their right to protest.
That is against the law. Also, shout out to Joel Olston, someone you never thought I would hear. You would never hear me shout this guy out.
I never thought the words would leave your mouth, but let me hear the rest of this.
But I can't talk about it because we're not allowed to talk about this topic on air, but go look up the FACE Act. And if you look at what the FACE Act is, one side of the conversation most certainly broke their treaty in regards to the FACE Act. Actually, forget it. The FACE Act prevents either pro-life or pro-choice people from going into the other side's places, right? So a pro-lifer may protest outside of an abortion clinic, but they can never run up in there. They can't run up in there and they can't do anything, and vice versa. pro-choicers can't run up inside of a church and do their thing there. But some young ladies at Joel Osteen's service the other day stripped down to their undies.
I heard about that.
Yeah, during the service. And listen, I think Joel Osteen is outside of orthodoxy. Some people would say I'm outside of orthodoxy. They would most certainly say you're outside of orthodoxy.
Yeah.
Well,
do you watch The Righteous Gemstones?
No, I don't.
Because here's what it is. I believe that the dad is kind of based off of Joel Osteen in it.
Okay, I'll check it out.
And basically it's a pastor who he is faithful and he is Christian, but he also enjoys making money as a pastor, if you know what I mean.
So, crazy thing about Joel Osteen, doesn't take a salary from his church.
But I mean, he lives in the lap of luxury and he's got jets and all sorts of crazy.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? It's all from his book sales, and he gets a pass on me for that because he does same thing as Rick Warren, the pastor that wrote that book, Purpose Driven Life, which was actually a troll on self-help books. Rick Warren wrote that book, made millions of dollars, did something that was insane. Started reverse tithing, so he gave away 90% of the money, paid back to church what he owed them for his salary up until the point of success, and he lives off 10% of the book proceeds. Everything
that's cool.
Back. Yeah, I mean, but 10% off of the amount of money, if you go look at Purpose Driven Life and the amount of revenue that book dropped, 10% of what it makes in a year is still very, very good. So that's all my honorable mentions. I just want to go back to the LGBTQ rally with the Klansmen. And the only reason I'm saying I brought that up is because I think it brings some balance to the conversation. I don't know what these guys' intentions were, right? And there's a lot of speculation around how the feds have been handling this. Dummy cases, etc., making up charges. We can go down that rabbit hole on a conspiracy. We could do a conspiracy theory. So. But if they were plotting violence, I'm glad they were apprehended.
Right? No, absolutely. And at first, I was like, I believe the hype is true. And let me just start off by saying, I do not know if they were or not, and if proof comes up that says that they were, then I'm totally fine with that. But when I heard they didn't find any weapons, and they were like, I don't even know what this group stands for. They could be white supremacists. I don't know. They're calling them white supremacists, although in the past they call everyone white supremacists, right? They're like, Black Lives Matter, a group of white supremacists, right? But if they didn't find weapons, and if they're not going to find like internet chatter or some proof that they were going to do violence, then that would count as a protest, and they're violating their right to protest.
Yeah, they're going to get sued and into the ground. But
Berlin, welcome in.
DT Dub TV, shout out to DT Dub TV. Make sure you go support DT on the channel. I cannot listen to this loop anymore. I'm sorry, my brother. It got me like pumped up. Like we're doing the opening.
This FAnboy modeling school. We're at it.
All right. So what do you want to kick it off with?
So let's start. Do you want to start with Kenobi or do you want to start with Swatted?
Let's start with Kenobi.
Kenobi. So how are you feeling about it so far?
I do not enjoy this show. But this last episode 4, was the first time that I was like I literally did that. I was sitting there watching it, and I was all right, folks, if you're anyone that's ever trained to use these things before, there's something you got to know. It is so difficult to knock someone out with your fist closed, right? You have to hit them right on the button.
I know what scene you're about to talk about.
But when I watch a person knock out 2 stormtroopers with basically smacks.
Yeah, it was slap. She uses slap, like an open hand.
They have armor on.
Right. A slap that wouldn't knock a normal man's face across knocked this stormtrooper out. Like she's like, and it was ridiculous. She hockeyed him, like she grabbed the other guy's mask. It was just a really bad action sequence.
Bro, you want to look at an episode, you want to see something that's the most realistic thing I've ever seen with someone with armor getting like murked? Go watch Blade 2. You remember that scene when Blade gets captured in Blade 2 and then he gets out and he has to fight the drones before he goes on to the boss fight? And he literally, there's a scene where Wesley Snipes is literally stomping on these guys, the stormtroopers in there, and cracking their helmets to crack their skulls. That's the only way that goes down. You don't smack someone with a helmet on and then they just pass out. It's not a thing. It's impossible.
It's oh my god! Imagine having to hit someone in stormtrooper armor, like actually try to knock their jaw. Like that's
Dude, I did
that's
it,
gonna
man.
hurt you way more. But it wasn't just that part. But I feel you that part. I think in general the action scenes have been really badly done.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff that makes you like scratch your head. Like I could go on and on about like there's like they get saved at the end of the episode. We're not going to fully spoil it, and everything about that was just nonsense.
So I agree 100% with your review. Shout out to the voice of the Fat Mantis. A little branding issue there. I think it should be the Fat Mantis, everything across the board. But he smacked me the last time I said that in public. It's like, don't you ever diss my shit. I agree with your assessment 100%. Moses Ingram. This is not a race thing for me. It can't be. I don't care. I don't play by those rules. Not good as a villain. Just not good.
She's just not good. And you know what it is? She's not the worst thing about the show, but she's certainly not certainly not a draw to the show.
Yeah.
Like I would complain about 15 other things before her, but as long as we're complaining about her, let's complain about this person.
Hold on for a second. You brought up Pub's comment. Comment said, wait, so what did you have to say about conservatives? Okay, so the smoke I have for conservatives for my honorable mention is just this. I cannot stand revisionist history, Pubs. I am a fact, historical context type of guy. And that's mostly because, I have ADHD. I need a linear line to examine things because I'm all over the place. But I have heard so many of my conservative friends say there are no white supremacist groups left. There's no this, there's no that. And I'm like, you couldn't prove that if you tried. I know for a fact that it still exists. And just seeing the feds round up guys who identify as that and they stick to the literature was a win for me. So many debates were won for me this week just based off of that clip. But that's another show. Go for it.
Oh, yeah. No, I could go on and on about how there were definitely white supremacists out there. I do think that the problem is that the early days, particularly of Trump, they were accusing of literally everyone of being white supremacists.
Everyone, which is why I don't like calling people racist unless they're actually racist.
Yeah, you gotta show the receipts, man. You gotta show that receipt.
But let's get back to Star Wars, man. So
So this show is frustrating, and it's gotten to the point where I'm literally going through YouTube looking for people who are critical of Kenobi, and it's not hard to find. It's all over the place. Just because I want to like absorb it, I'm like riding this high on hating of it, and this is hard for me because I love Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's my favorite character out of any fiction.
So let's go back a few months. The excitement that was being generated when we all heard Kenobi was coming out. Right, even me, it's difficult for me to get excited, get off the couch for that. But I remember Ewan McGregor, just how great he was in that trilogy.
Yeah, he was the best part. He was certainly the best actor. He was acting circles around everybody.
100%. I remember he took the action play so seriously. I forget the actor's name that did Darth Maul in the
Ray
live
Park.
Yes, very great physicality. That guy is an amazing martial artist and acrobatic performer. And Ewan McGregor said my goal in that scene with him was to fight as if I could actually beat him in real life. And it shows in that scene, in that brief fight scene between him and Darth Maul. And that's very brief if you go back and watch it.
And I think that one of the biggest problems I'm having with this show is there is no real story. There's like a skeleton of a story.
There's nothing happening.
There's nothing going, and we're at 4 hours now. We've watched 4 hours of this,
and nothing's happening.
And nothing is happening.
Jackson Jr. What's his name? Ice Cube's son.
O'Shea Jackson. O'Shea.
Wasted.
Completely. Wait. Oh, you. So there were like supposed leaks. I should have realized. You know what? It's horrible. When the leaks came out, I was like, it seems like an okay show, but I'm going to watch the hell out of it and love it. And they made the show sound amazing, and the leaks are wrong. Like the first 3 episodes are right, and then the first 2, and then they start deviating. And one of the things they said is that O'Shea was going to play Quinlan Vos, the Jedi.
Right.
He's the Jedi with the dreadlocks. Yeah. And I was just like, and O'Shea even said on Twitter, you think Reva is aggressively black? Wait till you see my character. His character's a freaking mechanic who has had half a minute of screen time.
It's even more crazy, man. The little bit of Quinlan we got was just some writing on the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so I'm like totally disappointed. So the predictions that they had, the leaks that didn't happen, is they said that Obi-Wan, the terrorist group he was gonna link up with, were
More
Forrest Whitaker's the Partisans, and that
yeah,
Forrest Whitaker was gonna be in it. And I was like,
amazing.
what?
Great. Would have been great.
Would have been great. Another missed opportunity.
Yes.
This show is just missed opportunity after missed opportunity.
I do want to point out though that not a Filoni and John Favreau project.
Yeah, they're not on it at all.
Not in one way, shape, or form. Kathleen Kennedy, it amazes me. I would not greenlight anything she brought to the table. I was really looking forward to what is this next one coming out with the rumors?
Andor.
No, not Andor. That's coming out. Or the proposed project where it's they thought Brie Larson was going to be. I think she is going to be in it. Where it's about a Jedi.
Oh, Acolyte.
The Acolyte. I was really looking forward to it, and now I realize there's no reason for me to look forward to it.
Right, because this is at this point it's 2 series in a row that they've really messed up.
Right.
And I'm like, what is the meaning of this? I'm just kind of speechless that they could do this, because I feel like it's funny. I'm such a Star Wars fan that I feel like I'm personally offended that they're attacking Obi-Wan.
It's bad, man. And I do everything in my power not to call something just outright bad.
And here's what I like. Here's one of the few things I like about you, Steve. That you always look on the bright side and you don't take shit too seriously. So you'll be like, what did you think of the last episode of blah, blah, blah? And I was like, I hated it. And you're like, I liked it. And then I'm like, I'm going to kill him. And I'm like, but you know what? You're being mellow and I'm being over intense. And it's the fact that you are not giving this a pass is obviously clear that there is something wrong with the show.
Yeah, there's something wrong with the storytelling. There's something wrong with the cinematography. There's something wrong with the fight scenes. Everything about this show is bad, man. I can't make a defense for it. The first episode was my favorite episode, and ever since
it looked like it was going somewhere.
It's completely downhill, man. And what really upsets me about this is I should not be looking forward to a game to be the crescendo or the gem of my Star Wars consumption. But I'm looking forward more to, and even with the Mandalorian, you're not going to like my statement. I'm looking more forward to the next Fallen Survivor moment. Yeah, Jedi Survivor. Than I am even the Mandalorian, because I have fears about us surrounding the Mandalorian. I'm like, what story is there left to tell if they don't go where Shane? What up, my brother?
What up, Shane? Yeah, and so you're not wrong. And I'll give you an example. Actually, in this last episode, a ton of plot points, a ton of things that weren't even done well in this. They were done better in the video game, or straight out of Fallen Order. Right. It's almost like they're plagiarizing the video game. Right. And I've been doing research on the series, and I'm about to lose my mind about certain things. So how there's this whole thing about how the Inquisitor appears to die, right? Yeah. And they're like, and then people started bitching, and then they're like, oh, he's not dead, he's injured. If you watch the series, it seems like he's dead, unless he's hiding that he's dead. So then I go on Rupert Friend's IMDb.
Love.
What up, dude? IMDb, and I'm like, well, are we going to see him again? Is he going to come out in a future episode? And it says he's only in 2 episodes, meaning episode 1 and episode 2.
Who's this? The Grand Inquisitor?
Yeah, the Grand Inquisitor, which means we're not seeing him again in the series. Which means they're not even going to rectify that. It would make sense at least at the end if they're like, oh, well, he's really alive. They're not going to do that. Then the Qui-Gon thing, I almost lost my mind here. They said, I looked at Liam Neeson's thing, and it said 2 episodes of Obi-Wan. I said, yes. And then it says parentheses, archival footage from Phantom Menace. Yeah. Meaning that there is a huge possibility, unless they're being sneaky about this, that he's not even going to appear as a Force ghost.
No, he's not. And you know why he's not going to do that, man? Because Disney, with their Marvel and their Star Wars properties, they play it so safe. As opposed to expanding the universe, they want to constrict it. Shout out to my boy Shane. Shane said, I really like the new Doctor Strange movie. And you know what, Shane?
Too.
You're in good company.
Yes,
You're in good company.
we loved it as well.
Man, this movie's bad and the show is bad, man. It's just bad. And I'm looking for any reason to debate with and shout out to Young Ripper and all those guys over there. He's not a part of that show, but he's in that camp. Geeks and Gamers, Star Wars Girl, but you're proving them right. I haven't checked Star Wars Theory to see what he's thought of this show yet, because he is the purest Star Wars fan I've ever encountered.
So up until starting on episode 3, he was like, "I'm not sure if I'm liking this," and then on his thing for the 4th one, he was like, "Yo, these episodes are mid, yo." Like, yeah. So he himself, you can tell he's having trouble being honest because he loves it so much. Because when you're a real fan, you want to defend the hell out of it. I want to defend the hell out of it. I've actually been unsubscribing to YouTubers who are defending it.
Well, yeah. What's the point of defending it? You got to call something bad when it's bad. I know
if they're getting paid to do this.
I know it's subjective, right? Taste is subjective, but I think at a certain point, like, we can all agree that Forrest Gump is an amazing movie. It may not be the best movie, but people like Forrest Gump. More people like it than people who dislike it. But if more people dislike a property than the amount of people who like it, I think we got something there, right? This is not good. This was not a good rollout. Kathleen Kennedy is bad for Star Wars. Breaking news.
Yes. Give this man a cookie.
Breaking news.
Yo, it's over the top. How it's crazy how bad she just got renewed in her contract. She's going to be making more of this crap. And it's important to let it be known, because people will argue with us. I am not saying she's the creative force, but she is the head of the studio, which means her job is to hire the right creatives. And if the right creatives aren't there, that's on her. Right? Just like if Kevin Feige doesn't do anything creative for the Marvel stuff, but he is there to be like, yo, I don't like this. Change it. Make this better. That's why he brought in his own directing team to direct action sequences, because he noticed that some of the directors can't do it. Yeah. And he said, you know what? Don't worry. We'll do the action scenes. You just do the other parts of the movie.
But see, here's the problem. Kevin Feige has capital, right? Like, he had, there's some, we all remember the dark days of the MCU, right? Let's not pretend like Iron Man, the original, is this great movie, because it isn't. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I liked it. But I hear what you're saying. Like, compared to what it is they are now, right?
Yeah, let's not pretend like Captain America: The First Avenger was this amazing movie, even though I enjoyed it, right? And Thor, the first one, I hate that movie. I absolutely hate that movie.
I thought it was mid. But
he built up the capital with, Avengers and Civil War, and then the Juggernaut started rolling. And I want to touch on this on another episode. So he can make it done, right? The MCU can survive some bad press on certain properties, because, like I said, it only takes one good hit to bring everyone back in line. So, but Kathleen Kennedy has rolled out dud after dud. In fact, the only thing I think that I feel as if though people universally loved was Rogue Company. I mean, Rogue
One, yeah.
Rogue One.
So yeah, I would say The Mandalorian and Rogue One are the only thing I've liked so far. Really,
she gets no credit. She gets no credit for The Mandalorian. None. We all know that's Filoni and Favreau,
right? And they offered Favreau her job. When they were thinking of replacing her, and he was like, I want to stay in the creative side. I don't want to become an exec or whatever. And so I'm glad, because I want more Mandalorian. I want it to be unchanged, right?
Yeah, right.
But she's not. And so here's some horrible things. Deborah Chow, she's the showrunner, and she's directed every episode of Obi-Wan.
Not good.
I looked her up. Now, she's done 2 episodes of The Mandalorian. Okay, that's cool, but her other credits include just a list of stuff from the CW. She's done iZombie and Rain and Beauty and the Beast. And I'm like, Star-Crossed. And I'm like, she's a CW director. Doing $25 million episodes for Obi-Wan. That's how much power.
I liked iZombie. I liked the few episodes I saw, but yeah, I'm not letting anyone like that touch a property like this. It's not happening.
And so first we got to do some quick Obi conspiracies.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, and I was paying attention to the Rotten Tomato score as well. I was watching it every day, and when it finally on the audience number dropped to 51, the next day it jumped up to 61.
Okay.
And what it turns out is Rotten Tomatoes, after weeks of it dropping, decided to delete certain reviews from audiences that they believed were not righteous. People were just giving it zeros or whatever just to be dicks. Right. But how do you know that? Who are they to make that call? Because I've been called a bot all the time. Trust me, if your political opinions aren't correct for whatever app you're on, they will call you a bot.
Yes. You were banned from Twitter because you're a bot.
Yeah, it's supposedly a bot, right? And so, and Disney is clearly paying for this situation,
right?
They don't want to look bad. They don't want to egg on their face. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. I honestly think that the Ingram, we've talked about this last week. The Ingram Moses thing is, I think they saw the show, executives saw the show, saw that it wasn't very good, and decided to preemptively be like, if anyone criticizes her, you're clearly a racist. And they put that into the universe.
And by the way, if you criticize the show, you're also a racist.
And an anti-Semite.
And you hate dolphins. And baby seals.
Baby cannibalizing scum.
Said, CW is low budget garbage fun to watch, but like it's not artistically great. Absolutely true.
Right. And to give someone like a thing that has a ton of action, sophisticated action.
Right.
And this woman has credits like Rain, or you know what I'm saying, or iZombie. They're not, so it's totally insane. And so there's a new not conspiracy theory, but here's the rumor. Here's the new rumor that at the end of Obi-Wan, Vader is supposed to kill Reva for failing him. And supposedly, and who knows how this leak got out, supposedly they've decided to remove that scene.
Really?
And people are speculating, and there's some camps who think they're thinking of making a season 2 of Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are some who think they're going to give Reva her own show.
I hope against that.
I absolutely hope against that.
Wait, real quick, before you go deeper into that, have you seen the conspiracy theories, and not conspiracy theories, but the speculation that Reva is actually Baby Cube's wife?
I think that's probably true.
You think so?
Yeah, I think she is both the child from the Jedi Temple. I think she ran off, was living a normal life, got with, Baby Q, the Cube, and and then got turned into a very un-Star Wars villain.
Man, go play Fallen Order. Best representation to this date of the Inquisitors. Here's the thing, right? This actually really saddens me, man, because I know so many people were looking forward to it. I'm not a Star Wars hardcore. I have opinions about Star Wars that are contrary to the hardcore opinion. Like, I'm one of the people that actually enjoy the Ahsoka episode when she made her appearance on The Mandalorian. I thought it was perfect. I thought the cinematography, the scoring, I thought everything about that episode was perfect.
Check this out. I loved everything in that episode, except I think I told you at the time, when they're like looking at each other in the moonlight.
Right.
And then she's like, his name is Grogu. And I was like, this is silliness. This is stupid. And you're like, what? They're having a psychic conversation. I was like, no, man, it's so stupid. But I've seen it since in the past, and I'm like, okay, I was a little critical of it. It's all right.
It was very, very old school samurai flick. That episode is a very, it's like Shogun Assassin and cowboy, like spaghetti cowboy Western mixed. Yeah. But I know people were really looking forward to Obi-Wan, and another thing I enjoyed about your critique, even though you were using levity, was the fact that I was looking forward to seeing a broken Obi-Wan. I wanted to see at least 2 full episodes of him struggling with his failure. I wanted flashbacks. I wanted all that stuff, because the comic that this is drawing from in Star Wars, when Obi-Wan finds out Darth Vader is alive, it's not because they're face to face. He hears about Darth Vader, if I remember the comic book, or he hears his voice and he realizes it's Anakin, and Obi-Wan's at a bar and it freaks him out. We didn't get to talk about Darth Vader coming on the show. I like some of that episode, like him showing up, cracking people's necks. That part I enjoy. I was like, oh, this motherfucker's going rogue on them right now. And then again, I did like him coming in episode 4, like just him juggernaut.
That particular scene was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just the 4 had so many problems. But you're right. In 3, I like that scene too when he's going through the village doing
Yeah.
his thing. But then when the fight started, the fight was like lackluster and
Oh, completely.
slow, and like they're not really trying to. He
100%.
doesn't even really seem like he's trying to kill him.
No, no,
And
no.
so there's a lot of leaps in logic. It's kind of crazy. Like with the flames, when the flames are on and Obi-Wan gets away, and people keep saying things and like, well, maybe if Darth Vader remembered that his suit is fireproof, he could have walked through it. Or if he could remember that he could force jump, he could jump over the flames. Or if he remembered he could just telekinetically pull Obi-Wan back, he would just end the show could just end right there. And I was like,
Right.
you're right. He forgot to do all of that. And that's and in this one, I'm sorry, we're leaking into spoilers, but the thing that I couldn't stand about this episode, some of the things, is that Fortress Inquisitus is like the second most important base on all of Star Wars. It doesn't have shields. It doesn't have TIE fighters patrolling it, even though the hangar had like TIE fighters.
Yeah.
But later on, 2 ships are able to just fly right in and start blowing the hell out of it. And I was like, there's nobody patrolling it. When they fly away, the obvious thing is to dispatch TIE fighters. They didn't do that. They stood there and watched them get away. It's who wrote this?
Only positive scenes from this episode were obviously the tomb scene, which had a lot of.
I like that too. He said, "This is a tomb,"
and obviously not because it was a little kid about to be tortured, but that they were willing to go there and show even a little bit of the torture bed that they use to turn Jedis or Force sensitives into Inquisitors. Thought that was good. Nothing else really great.
Wait, and I gotta say, the internet is having the greatest ball that Riva is a dark sider Inquisitor with a torture bed, and still 10-year-old Leia is able to just sun her up.
Yeah.
Like she's trying to do her mind read, and she's like, "Oh, you're too strong." And then Leia says some smart ass shit. I'm like, damn, you're letting a 10-year-old school you right now.
These are the worst Inquisitors, worst Jedi hunters ever in Star Wars.
How did Riva catch an adult Jedi? She can't stop a 10-year-old.
At what point do you try to read someone's mind and go, wait, I should be able to do this fairly easy? Could they possibly be Force sensitive? Now, unless Leia is a new type of Force sensitive akin to Homegirl from friggin' Twilight, where no one's powers work on her, how come no one ever noticed that Leia was Force sensitive?
Well, here's what I'm saying. Bringing her into the story was, in my opinion, a mistake because it draws so much attention to her. Think about it this way. This institution within the Empire knows that her and her dad are rebels, have been hunted, know that they're friends with Obi-Wan Kenobi. They should be arrested right then and there and never make it to A New Hope.
Well, I mean, there's a
Why
lot.
Were they allowed to leave at the end of this?
Well, because this, you got to remember, Riva went rogue on this one, so I don't think anyone knows outside. And this is the one thing I do love about the kind of clandestine stuff going on with Star Wars. Like a lot of people were talking about games like not Fallen Order, but what was that? Star Wars Force Unleashed. Was that the name of those games?
Right. With a Star Killer.
How is Darth Vader able to have a secret apprentice? And it's like it's a bunch of Sith Imperial nonsense. Like so many people are scheming. No one knows what's going on at any given time, but it just didn't land well. Like it's not landing well.
And we can't take Riva seriously because she can't sun up a 10-year-old. That's one of the problems.
No. And she doesn't know how to use a lightsaber. She doesn't know how to.
She doesn't look like she's controlling it very well. She's definitely they needed a stunt double for this stuff.
This is depressing me how bad it is.
Yeah,
I've seen Buffy episodes that were better than this.
And I'm gonna say yes, because Buffy, at least here's what it is. Buffy had cheesy fighting beyond belief, but at least Buffy had story. Say what you will about Joss Whedon, he's a womanizer and an idiot and a fool, but he at least knows how to write a good story. And some of those Buffy episodes are great, not because of special effects or anything, fighting or anything. It's all just story.
Absolutely. No. And I'm not downplaying Buffy. We're two hardcore Buffy fans, man. Even though Angel was the superior show.
Yes,
I think it just was. It was darker. There was better writing. I think they really came into their own with that season. And they weren't tied to the same stuff as in the Buffy. We just need for this to be over. How many episodes? 2 episodes left. I think
two more. I can't believe 4 out of 6 are already done, and like nothing's been accomplished.
Can we switch conversation, man?
No, it's totally cool. It's absolutely just real quick before I gotta say, and this might be where I draw the line though.
Okay.
Because here's what it is. How often are we going to keep watching a bad product and keep paying for it? And I might just, you know, I don't have children, so I might as well just stop my my Disney Plus subscription.
I
If
heard
this thing's gonna suck.
that. I don't know about that take though, man, because there's other stuff coming down the pipeline. Why would you?
I'm gonna see every Marvel movie in the theater, right?
Right.
I mean, what you know, what do I need?
No, I get it, man. I'm not going scorched earth on the rest of it because there's a lot of stuff on Disney Plus that I enjoy, including the Marvel properties. Like
I mean, you got kids. I'm sure they're watching that thing all the time.
Yeah, they're and Disney's getting there. You know, they're getting my money. They're getting it.
D loves this. She's ending her HBO subscription.
HBO Max, man. Only reason I'm holding on to it is because I got some stuff coming out that I want to see. I know Marvel, but yeah, Peacemaker, obviously. But I need to see Morbius. I tried to watch it and through other means. I need to see if this movie is as bad as people say it is. Have you seen it?
I have not seen it. I've not seen it. Lainey saw it. Lainey thought it was okay. Lainey says also there's a thing called Morbius. I'm not going to say that. Yes, but yes, there is that. And what it is I pay. Sometimes I just pay for things just because, well, I'm a nice guy, but I don't have to be. I can bootleg your stuff all day, Star Wars. It's Morbin time. You can just borrow someone's account when there's something specific you want to. Yes, absolutely. We do. We all do that with our friends, right? Yeah, it's not even a thing anymore. What is up with your girl Amber Heard?
Okay, Amber Heard. Hold on. Let me just. So, Amber Heard took the L of the year. What else is there to say about it? You know, she lost. She lost the defamation case, a case where it was the bulk of the difficulty was on Johnny's team to prove defamation. You know, he's a public figure. It's more difficult in that regard. You guys might remember the debate Mantis and I had about defamation, and it's really difficult if you're a public figure for you to be able to prove it. But she lost, right? And her lawyer went on the media tour and made it even worse because the woman's just not that great at spinning the story back towards sympathy. The one thing she kind of did successfully, Amber Heard's attorney, was like, hey, the social media attacks, I think that swayed the jury. And then Johnny's team went on, and obviously they did a way better job in their media wrap-up tour. Essentially, it's basically like watching a prize fight that's come to an end. You know, when you do the post-fight analyst and they just analysis and they have both fighters up and one guy's like, oh, it was a great effort. You know, came in 110%.
Well, this looks like a different type of defeat. When the guy's defeated and he hasn't accepted it, he's like, I don't understand what the judges were thinking, man. I definitely won that one. And you're like, wake up,
you got knocked down 3 times. But I don't want to friggin' belabor the point. I want everyone to go ahead and enjoy this, and then we'll get some commentary from you folks and what you think of it. Let's see. Let's select the window. Oh my good. Where is it? This is. I've been having.
Oh, I thought you had it up.
No, I do have it up. I've been having some difficulty. There we go with StreamYard. Bam. All right, folks, enjoy this.
Even somebody who is sure I'm deserving of all this hate and vitriol, even if you think that I'm lying, you still couldn't look me in the eye and tell me that you think on social media there's been a fair representation. You cannot tell me that you think that this has been fair. Even somebody.
Yeah, wait, hold on. Run it back a little.
Sure.
There's a part of it where I just don't believe her. She's acting.
Even somebody who is sure I'm deserving.
Right there.
It's so fake the way she's acting right now.
Vitriol. Even if you think that I'm lying, you still couldn't look me in the eye and tell me that you think on social media there's been a fair representation. You cannot tell me.
Oh my God, man. Like, and it's just like, learn your lesson.
Take the L.
Yeah, and there's just times you have to accept that you've been defeated, you've been knocked up. Maybe you don't even need to say anything, but probably sometimes it's just better to shut the fuck up and walk out.
Especially if you plan on going for an appeal, which, by the way, she's claiming indigent. doesn't have any funds, can't pay the fees. So how is she going to afford the attorneys to appeal this? This is bad marketing 101. This is bad acting 101. And here's the thing, man. I think what Johnny Depp's legal team did that was so masterful, as opposed to when they had the defamation case, when he was suing that trade in Europe, was, her lawyer appealed to the fact, well, they understood it in Europe. I'm like, yeah, but she wasn't quite technically the person on trial. He was suing a trade.
Right.
Extremely difficult, even more difficult than defamation on a public figure is one of these crooked trades. And so many things were allowed into evidence and being presented that just, and then she was her own worst enemy on the stand. She literally was her own worst enemy. And when all the facts played out, what do you do with that? At this point, I kind of think that the best thing for Amber Heard, I think the best thing for Amber Heard to do is just fade away. That's the best you can hope from this. Your thoughts?
Well, here's my analysis of her, and it's going to be extreme, and everyone's going to think they're like, "Oh, Mantis, you're a bully." I'm not a bully because she's a rich white woman, so she has all the power over me. So whatever I say doesn't really matter. But I honestly think feel I've seen enough sociopaths that she is a sociopath, and the sociopath is never wrong in their own world. Yeah. And I think that she is crazy enough to believe that she's crazy enough to think that she's right. And she's crazy enough to think she can fool the world. And that's why she's totally, her optics about herself are totally insane.
Yeah, leave Public's comment up here for a second. So here's the interesting thing about that, Public. The pendulum swung to the other side on this, because if you remember, in the onset of this entire thing, Johnny Depp was the most hated man in America on social media before the facts were presented. And the real vitriol didn't start coming for her until the facts started coming out. And I kept screaming this from the mountaintop on this show. I was like, the only evidence of any domestic abuse in this relationship is recorded, and it's from her admitting that she had hit Johnny Depp. His finger was severed, for God's sake. And I think that the reason she caught so much slack on social media is because people started to see her for what she was. It wasn't because they disliked her, because she had all the momentum going into this thing. Johnny Depp had to prove that he wasn't this monster. And as things continued to play out, she was unable to maintain that. She was unable to maintain the fact that she was a victim. I'm not going to use a trigger phrase like victim status or anything like that, because if he had beat her, I'm like, let's get justice for Amber. But once it was time for people to really examine what happened, look at all the details, look at all the evidence, that's when it started to go south. Let me see here. D-Love says until there was let's go back here. D-Love said people were just calling how they saw it. It doesn't take much to see through her lies. Agreed. Lainey says, yep, she's unhinged. D-Love says until the receipts were presented. Exactly. And Public says, I really don't think the amount of hate Johnny got online equal the amount she got. But yeah, you're right. She's her own worst enemy. So let's look at it this way. The amount of hate Johnny Depp got online and the amount of hate he got in the trades cost him his jobs. Right? Amber Heard, as of today, has still not really lost anything except public favor. I'm not entirely sure if the Warner Brothers has released an official statement where they have completely removed it. There's been speculation. I'm waiting on the official statement, but he lost a lot. And the burden of being called a domestic abuser is the worst thing you can be called, right? And if you are that, then you wear that and you get what comes with it. But my sentiment about Amber Heard is that it turned on her, right? When you play, and then hear me out on this, when you play on the sentiment and the emotional connection people have to this topic, this very important topic about domestic abuse, when you play to that, and then women find out that you are lying and they make up the market share, they're going to destroy you on social media. And that's exactly what happened. She took a movement and used it as her cannon fodder, and it turned on her. And then shout out to Johnny Depp's lawyer, the woman that's second chair, right? Second chair. I thought she was third chair. She's second chair. it was such an ingenious move to have her take lead and not have that male lawyer.
Right, because he would have looked like a bully.
Exactly.
It's,
I'll be
it's,
right back.
it's all good strategy. It's amazing freaking strategy. And so I think that this is a very important victory for Johnny. And I know this sounds like they're like, oh, the guys have the guys back or whatever. But it really comes down to this. We live in an age that unfortunately Me Too, and Me Too was a very important movement and still is. But it got to the point where Me Too mutated into believe all women. And then it became a world where all you needed was an accusation to destroy your career and your livelihood. And this is a very important victory that liars need to be shut down and they need to be stopped. And it isn't, well, just because a woman said it, the man's career should be ruined. It is now, we finally can now look at it because of this victory. There are going to be other victories where we are able to actually analyze the real situation, who is right and wrong. We're going to look at the evidence, and I think that's very, 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 very important. I really don't think the amount of hate Johnny got online equals the amount of hate she got, but yeah, you're right. She is her own worst enemy. I remember a time where I felt like he was hated. He was a woman hater and he was getting canceled. And I mean, he got canceled in the worst way. Some people just get canceled in reputation, but he was literally getting fired from jobs that pay $10 million. Do you know what I would do if someone got me fired from a job that paid $10 million? It wouldn't be as civilized as Johnny went about it. Let me tell you. Until the receipts were present. And so yeah, absolutely, man. This is an important case for men and like the Me Too movement in general, because now we're gonna be looking at evidence instead of just being like, well, she said it, it's cool. Let's fire him and ruin his reputation.
And here's the thing for the women who survive domestic violence, right? And I know I see it, so I'm looking at it from the other side of the table as well, right? I understand how important this is, and I don't want the experience of women who've actually been abused to be diminished. So I understand that, but I think there's a positive on this side too, right? Because I think women are now going to look at the women amongst their ranks in the Me Too movement, because your movement is destroyed by subterfuge and fakers, right? Subterfuge meaning that overt threats make their way in and completely discredit the movement, but it's the threat from within, right? It's the hanger-ons. It's the women who have not shared that experience that you're surviving from. They weaken the movement. And I think this is important because now they're going to be less inclined to attach themselves to something when it's like, oh shit, this might actually, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like,
no, I absolutely know. And I don't know if I've said this on the show before, but there was a girl that I dated actually for a while. We actually went to go, but early on.
Stop. You have said it, but I didn't get you your flowers. I want you to know the night you said it so casually, and I've been pushing you to share your experience for so long that we didn't really get into it.
Wait, this might not be the one you're thinking of, but because this is like more of a minor thing.
Okay.
But in the beginning of our dating, she basically said that she was abused as a child.
Right.
And then later on, a couple of weeks later, she said she was not.
Mm-hmm.
I said, like on our second date, you were talking about it. And she's like, I don't know. I felt like I could understand what it was like to be abused as a child. I don't know why I said that. And I'm like thinking, I'm like, like for a second there, I was like, are you a psychopath? That's not something you joke around about.
No, it's not.
But there is that kind of feeling that a lot of women are like, well, I wasn't abused or I wasn't hit, but I know what it's like, that feeling, and I want to jump on that energy.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's so what does this have to do with fanboying? I was thinking about this in my head the other day. I'm like, why do these topics come up? Because we do social commentary here on Fanboy Modeling School. It seems to be the way that everything's going. Everyone has an opinion about anything, and we're not claiming to be social engineers on the level where we can sway public thought. But I do think that this is so important because Rose McGowan has clearly, in my mind, I have no clinical proof for this, has gone through something. I will say outright, I believe that Rose McGowan, I gotta say, yeah. She has all the telltale, I don't want to go any deeper. Amber Heard should not be able to, and women like her should not be able to impact that narrative. In the same token, men who abuse women, right? They, they should experience their consequences. They should experience their consequences. Now, whether or not you can think someone can be reformed, that's a can of worms we've opened up before on Request Box Live. I'm not going back there. But in this instance, I just want to say to the women, Amber Heard has not damaged your movement in one way, shape, or form. In fact, this is only going to make it harder for women to falsely be a part of your movement.
Yes, absolutely. That's what we're going on. The things. And so public is saying, I personally think having a rich person's domestic abuse case streamed for the world to see isn't doing any favors for survivors or victims of false allegations. I don't see how it's not. And so, just for the record, this is not the actual case. This is whether they lied in a case in the past.
Right.
And not only that, Amber Heard has done everything to publicize everything about their relationship since the
everything.
She's trying to capitalize it on things. She was probably getting a hard on from it being streamed.
Yeah, so and that's the crazy thing. And this is why she didn't want it televised, and her legal team was fighting against it, because it was the scrutiny of the camera that really ruined Amber Heard, right? Like, so just imagine if Johnny would have won this, but no one believed that he won it. We'd be in the same place, but people watching it unfold. Same thing with the OJ case. No, a little bit different. I don't know how OJ was able to finesse what he did. You know what I'm saying? Like okay, so let's talk
I can explain to you. I know how
here's the thing, right? It wasn't so much OJ, right? It was Johnny Cochran. And Johnny Cochran, and a lot of people don't know this, he was a civil rights attorney for many moons, and he'd been fighting. Johnny Cochran had been a lawyer for so long, and he was a lawyer, and he'd been alive at a time where he was not able to legally speak in the courtroom, so he would have to tell his arguments to his white counterpart, and you would see him whispering to a white lawyer the questions asked. So by the time Johnny Cochran got to that position in his life, he wasn't defending OJ, he was putting the system on trial.
And another thing I got to say, just in terms of that case, the real lesson that should be taken from the OJ case is, if you don't want murderers to get away, don't have racist psycho cops who leave tons of evidence of that. Because if everyone's always saying how could they let him off? He was clearly guilty. What they put on trial was Mark Furman, who was a racist who admitted to beating and hurting and beating up black suspects just because they're black on tape. They got to hear that, and then when he was asked point blank on the trial, they say, have you ever fabricated any evidence in a case before? He pleaded the fifth. And then they said, and then Johnny Cochran goes, did you fabricate any evidence in this case? And then he pleaded the fifth.
Yeah.
And then at that point, there's no way they could have won.
No coming back.
There's no way. They look like it's a racist comp and it's a setup.
Bro,
and so that was what the problem was.
Yeah, he put the system on trial, and that's where. At any rate, how does this relate to the Amber Heard situation? Instead of the system being on trial, and I really want to say this out loud, because I was talking about it on Dope Dynamics and talked about it with DaVinci. Domestic violence claims wasn't on trial here. It was a liar. A liar got put on trial, and that's what his team did masterfully. They were like, you know what? We're going to expose you to scrutiny. And we're going to expose your arguments, and go listen to the interviews about Johnny's lawyer, the young lady. Shout out to her. If I had a daughter, I would want her to be like that.
And have you heard what happened?
What happened?
So throughout TikTok, the TikTok world has constantly been watching him and her.
The shipping.
Yeah, the shipping. She's finally admitted it.
What?
She admitted. She's like, we are now dating. She publicly said this.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, Camilla. What?
She had a whole fiance, didn't she?
This is what I heard.
I'll check that out later. I'm going to verify.
Yeah, please, verify my thing, because I hope my source wasn't wrong. I want to be accurate.
What's her name?
It's Camilla. I bet you if you just put Johnny Depp's lawyer, there's going to be a million things. She was offered roles in movies after this. And the fact checker says,
hold on.
Oh, yeah. Camila Vasquez. He's gonna name his daughter Camilla Vasquez. It's gonna be Camilla Vasquez Curmudgeon.
Okay, no, I think that's cap.
Oh, boo! I'd heard that in circles, man. Oh, damn it.
Vanity Fair. Johnny Depp's lawyer Camila Vasquez calls rumors she's dating the actor sexist. Yeah, that's cap.
Okay. Damn it! Mantis was wrong. Mantis was wrong.
What's up,
This
Carmen?
has been the second time in my life that I've been wrong. Carmen, what up? It's bound to happen at some point. Damn it.
No, I mean, I wouldn't. The only reason I would have been mad is like, man, she had a whole friggin' fiance, but I love that she spun it and said that's sexist. That you think I have to be attracted to him to do my job. Suck it. She's an amazing attorney, and shout out to the older gentleman who was with her as well. He's a great closing arguer. His last closing argument or his last presentation at the wrap of the trial, I was just like, this dude is useless. But then when I heard him speak, I was like, oh, he's a veteran. And Miss Vasquez made partner at her firm after this win. She is so young to be a partner, and that's absolutely amazing, bro. It's
and
amazing.
actually, I hear from my sister is a legal secretary, and she was saying that the lawyers at her job were saying that Amber's lawyers would have to be incompetent to have failed this one, because it was actually a hard one for Johnny to win.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't that they were just incompetent. I agree with that assessment. It was an uphill battle. He had the proof of burden was on him, but he had great attorneys, and I think that he had the truth on his side. Now, here's what he did that was brilliant. Johnny said, reputation be damned. I'm an alcoholic, chronic masturbator. I do drugs. I'm willing to let you know every bad thing about me, but guess what? I'm not.
Yo, see, you know what I have to call him out for, which is totally uncool. He was naming names of other celebrities that he's done drugs with.
Oh,
and do you know who some of them were? So some of them were Marilyn Manson and Bruce Willis, and we know that both how those guys get down. But one of them was the dude who plays Vision.
Yeah, but obviously that guy does drugs.
I bet that guy was probably minding his own business at home with his wife, and he just hears it on the news. He's like, "Wait, what?"
I love that guy's story, man. You know, he almost never had another film ever again, and the MCU saved him. He walked out of it's a great story. He said he walked out of a producer's office or got a call, and he was like, "You'll never work in this town again,and then literally got the call for Vision.
That's cool. He seems like such a cool guy.
Yeah, drug addict.
Drug addict. Yeah, and that's what it is. Do you really want people naming names about the wild shit you've done? But Johnny was very honest about all this stuff.
Yeah, he let it all fly, man. And it's the same thing with the Tasha K Cardi B situation. You know, Tasha K had everything on her side except for the fact that Cardi B, who a lot of people play off as an idiot, but Cardi B is not a dumb woman.
I mean, I can't attest to that. I just think she's gross.
Okay. You like Taylor Swift. No one cares what you think about
Taylor Swift is a Satanist.
But you love her. You're physically attracted to her.
Yeah.
What
am I, blind?
Cardi B followed the legal system like most street smart people do. She sent a cease and desist to Tasha. Tasha got online, said she was going to wipe her ass with the cease and desist. You know, Cardi was like, hey, I'll go to your medical professional. I'll go to mine. Anyone. You said that I had herpes and I gave it to my daughter. And then stack after stack after stack, her legal team disproved everything and made Tasha K's team look incompetent. And Tasha, I don't want no smoke with you. If you guys don't know who Tasha K is, she is not the type of woman you want smoke with on the internet. She has enough time to come after little and big channels.
So should I?
Yeah, you should say it.
I should say that she has herpes. No, but are we getting in? Are we getting like? I mean, is the suing getting ridiculous? Does it get to the point where, like, remember our episode where we started talking about YouTuber X? Can we get sued for that now?
No, because we never defamed her character. We're attacking her critiques about things. So it's one thing if we start making up lies about YouTuber X. We're not making any claims about who she is as a person or claiming she's done certain things at all. We are attacking her review style, however. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's fair use. As long as we don't say that she has herpes, we're good.
All right.
Don't
Let's
say it.
continue. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, in other entertainment news, and this is YouTuber all straight up. So 2 YouTubers, conservative YouTubers, that got swatted in the same night, obviously, to send out a message. And those 2 YouTubers were none other than The Quartering and Tim Pool. 2 tubers. Very good, Hannah. The Quartering and Tim Pool got
Wait,
swatted.
Tim Pool is of where's he of again? Geeks and Gamers, right? Or no?
No. He's just some conservative.
Okay.
Loudmouth. He doesn't particularly do entertainment, just like all sorts of stuff. He's got a huge fan base. Both of these guys have over 1 million.
So explain to the people again what swatting is and why it's so dangerous.
And so what it is that because people have gotten shot over this, what it is you call in a fake police report to a place and you make sure it's top. And I'm in no way in Fanboy Modeling School is encouraging you to do this and is telling you not to do it because it's illegal and it's dangerous.
Yeah.
But what you do is you call in an extreme, horrible crime in a place. In this case, I understand from the Quartering's part, they said that he had murdered his wife with a high caliber rifle and wants to take his own life.
Wow.
And so they sent in a SWAT team to his house. He was not streaming, but Tim Pool was.
Oh, wow.
And they're boys, so they don't like stream over each other, apparently. And
Right.
so that's the only reason Quartering wasn't. But Tim Pool was in the middle of a stream when SWAT people came on in.
Do you mind if I see if I can find some live footage of that real quick?
Oh, yeah, please.
So what are your thoughts in general? In general. You don't have to get into whether or not they oh shit, it's up. Oh my goodness.
Oh, can we share this? Let's share it with the peoples.
Oh wait, no, this is from 5 months ago.
Yo, he's been swatted 9 times in his career.
Holy smokes.
People freaking hate this dude.
He makes horrible points, by the way. Not the best conservative commentator.
Yeah.
Sometimes out of his depth. Let's see. Oh, wait. Yeah, here it is. All right. So this is going to be tricky, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, folks.
Do it. And so what is the meaning of all this? Yo, that's some dirty pool. Swatting somebody.
100%.
It's dangerous. You could get them killed, but.
There we go.
Oh, sorry.
You bastard. I think this is the most recent one. Here you go. Damn you, internet. Damn you. Keep talking, Mantis.
You guys out in the country, you have horrible internet.
I have really good internet, but you know what I realized? I'm in the Hold Up TV YouTube account, which is never a good idea.
Okay, this is obviously this is a joke.
Section. I'm Brett Cooper. I think you all probably know who Tim Pool is. He is a very, very well-known podcaster. I was on his show a couple of weeks ago. He's done stuff with the Daily Wire. He's badass.
Fire department was incentivized to put out fires, and they got paid more for every fire they put out.
We have to evacuate the building.
You better
All right.
believe that
Rolling.
you'd see a lot more fires. You guys, I love you. I think
We're just going to leave keep the live stream going. We're being told we need to evacuate the building. So keep watching, keep the stream up. And can you do the wide shot?
Yeah.
All right.
Like, I am so impressed with how calm they are about all this happened 9 freaking times. It's like, all right, cool. We're going to evacuate. It's going to be great.
I mean, we're not, I'm not going to play the Tucker Carlson commentary, but
but yo, is this the level of dirty pool and politics we are in right now?
yes, 100%.
Just because you don't like a fellow streamer, because you know it was a rival streamer who did it.
Bro, we live in an amazing time. It's like politics has never been.
I am literally praying that you do not get swatted.
I pray about that every day because I you know I don't lean towards this side of the spectrum, but I recognize historical facts. There could be a very good chance that my outcome of getting swatted would be much different than Tim Pool's.
Yes. They're going to shoot first and ask questions later. They went to the door. They knocked on the door and they go, "Excuse me, sir, can you come out here?" That's. I imagined like that. You know that intro. The guy's
Right.
coming in. Like,
I'm gonna come
they
out in
shoot
my
the cat
robe.
and like.
Let's come out in my robe, and they're like, "He's got a robe on."
Oh man, we're laughing, but it is hard. It's absolutely horrible, that situation.
Right.
But like, how do we stop this? I mean, is the first thing is it possible that we don't ever want to be freaking famous? Is that why I go by the Fat Mantis? Because I really don't want people to know me or where I live.
You know, a funny story. You remember when I interviewed Guapo? Did I ever show you that weird message I got where the person was trying to get Guapo's real name? And I was like, he never gave it to me. And even if I had it, I wouldn't give it to you. I was like, he does it so he can protect his family from just these type of messages.
Right. And if it's a rando who's just like, yo, can I have his real name? Obviously, that's not his boy.
No.
Obviously, that is not his friend.
Stop it. I think we can't stop it, right? But if we're just going to hypothesize and wax philosophical about it, people have to be willing to accept the internet as the new town square, the public speaking corner, right? And just understand that you have to allow people to have contrarian or different ideas as you, and you have to be willing to engage in them. I only think it's dangerous when it's actually in public, right? If you find yourself at a rally where a bunch of psychopaths with tiki torches show up, that's a threat of real danger. But just engaging with people online, we have to start looking at it like that. It's just two people going back and forth.
And that's why I know it's an unpopular idea. I'm not against the concept of protesting, but the fact that now that people want to counter protest, it's gotten out of hand. That's basically two rival gangs meeting in the street.
Yeah, and
you're asking for violence by allowing that to happen.
It's dangerous, and you just got to be willing to engage in the conversation, man. And that's the thing that we're lacking. I think people don't want to see their side lose so badly. And then who knows who's actually making these calls? I mean, if we're going to go there, we got to go there. How do we know it was a bunch of crazy liberals? How do we know it wasn't a bunch of conservatives trying to prove a point? Right? You don't know.
Right.
You don't know, and that's why it needs to be investigated thoroughly.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely nuts, man. So to date, do you know, has anyone actually been killed during swatting?
I think so.
Yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, I think of like a regular guy who did get killed swatting. He was watching kids too. He was watching his two kids or whatever, and he ended up getting shot. Brown, of course. But like I'm just saying, like,
not laughing at him being killed. It's just like
right. Jesus, are they not investigating these calls? I wonder, is that really hard to find? That's another question.
How could it be at this point? How could it be hard? Even with a burner phone, they can track burner phones. That's why I don't understand when my shady friends are like, "Oh no way, I got a burner." I'm like, "Well, don't call me on that shit." You don't think that's simply?
Yeah, they go through it, and then another thing is every burner phone I've ever had to do, I've had to submit an email. No, obviously you could do a fake email, but obviously there's a way to find out who made an email.
Yeah, whatever workstation you're at, I don't care if you're using Nord or any of these commercial grade VPNs. You don't think they can crack that shit in a second? They should be investigating it. I would love for them to get to the bottom of it. I think, to answer your question, the only solution that I can think of is people have to be willing to have the disagreement, right? They have to be willing to allow the conversation where it needs to go, man. And this, and public,
so few are, though.
No, so few are. And this whole thing started with the COD community, didn't it? Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Come back in the comments later.
Is that what they would do? They swat them while they were streaming?
Each other, man, not just COD. Other gaming communities, they lose, they call the cops on you. It's the ultimate form of snitching. It's dirty snitching, man. Dirty snitching.
Yo, public just gave me a good idea. I could just swat myself for publicity.
Too late. I already swatted you.
I think swatting happens after people spend hours online arguing. Okay.
I disagree with that. I disagree. Swatting started with video gamers just not being salty at losing. Swatting is it's the affirmation of a generation that can't take the L.
Yes. Because that's the next level to rage quitting.
Yes.
Like they rage quit and they're like, that wasn't enough.
And I know I think I'm being ageist and speaking down on younger people from another generation, but this was just not a phenomenon, mostly because we didn't have the ability. But, you take the L when I grew up, man. You know how many times I've gotten my ass whooped and it was like the next level wasn't to shoot up the spot?
Right.
It's just me and you are going to fight every time we see each other. So I get that one back, but
but I'm saying it's summed up so greatly in the movie Friday,
right?
And so a father sees that his son has a gun, And then the father, who's normally played for jokes the entire movie, hits his son, takes the gun, and he says, "What is wrong with you? Back in my day, you know what our guns were? This." He's like, "Sure, they might whoop your ass, but you'll live to fight another day. And that's what's wrong with you boys. You can't take an ass whooping."
It's true, man. It's absolutely true, man.
But how do we teach these kids to take an ass whooping?
So the one thing I'm teaching my sons, right? First, self-defense is key, right? Learning how to defend yourself, when to defend yourself.
You better teach them striking too.
I don't know why you don't think I'm into striking. I'm just not into kung fu striking.
I know. I'm just as long as they're striking, they can't be BJJing through life. You know?
They just drop it back.
He suplexes the kid in the freaking alley. Come on.
I'm going to teach them how to defend themselves and when to defend themselves, which I think builds confidence. I know it has built confidence for me, knowing that I can defend myself and why they should defend themselves. And then secondly, I'm going to make sure they know that if you lose a fight, you just lost. That's all it is. You didn't lose your life. You didn't lose your life. You didn't lose property. You didn't lose honor. That's what it is. But too many people here want to be so right to the point where they can't deal with being wrong. And if your position is strong enough, it doesn't matter, right? Keep arguing your position.
Well, what it is it fights against your pride.
Right.
And sometimes and it's hard. I'm going to say it's hard being a man, and then all the women are going to be like, "Oh, shut up, man." But it is hard being a man, and we all have pride. Women have pride. But with a man, when your pride is busted, especially in front of your friends or something like that, sometimes it can lead to irrational thoughts. It can get to the rage where you're like, "I want to kill that fucker and his mother."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you got to learn to control it. It's just a loss. Take your L.
You know what was a real life thing for me? And you know this, man. I'm not going to talk about, when I tried to punch fucking loose meat. Actually, in all honesty, you saved me from committing assault on one of the most notorious.
You already killed him.
But when I took that ass whooping in Kew Gardens, here's what stood out to me, right? It was a bad beating. As you remember, they broke both my hands, fractured skull, the whole 9 yards. I got humbled. I do believe if I had not taken that ass whooping, I would have turned out to be a true monster. Like, I was on that path anyway. But I remember getting a call from the DA when I was healing up. And I'll never forget these words. Most poignant words is like, "If you retaliate in any way, shape, or form, I will make sure you do time."
Jesus, I didn't know that. I didn't know about it.
I remember laying in the bed, and it dawned on me. I was like, I just got to take this L, because I was worried about social capital. You know what I'm saying? I was worried about how my own crew was going to look at me, because they were hitting me up and like, "What are we going to do?" And I'm like, we're not going to do anything.
But also another thing is that, not to put you on blast, when you were younger, a lot of your social capital came from being a fighter.
Yes.
So you were known for a man who could handle himself and didn't put up with shit.
Yeah, and I knew that I was going to lose a fight eventually. I've lost fights before. I just, it happens. You know what I'm saying? And it actually didn't damage my my quote unquote street creds. It taught me a valuable lesson. Like, I'm not willing to escalate it to the next level, because the next level should have been, by hood rules, and I wasn't willing to go there. And I think people need to understand that it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all.
No way. It happened when streamers had high viewership. So it was something wild to do to someone's live. I wonder if there's a way to actually look up the history of swatting.
But public, that's my point. It has nothing to do with people arguing on the internet all day long. And it has to do with the fact that people who have higher views, you lose a game in stream, and then you swat someone. One of the most famous cases was because a kid got murked coming out of a COD lobby, and he called the cops. I can't think of. Let's just stop and think about that for a second. Everyone hates snitching culture, right? But no one speaks out openly about swatting the way they do snitching. Like, bro, you're calling the cops on the guy. You're swatting someone because you lost the game. And now you're swatting someone because they have a political stance that you feel like you mentally can't defeat. That's the epitome of weakness. That is the epitome of weakness.
We're gonna have to settle the debate next week. I'm saying we're gonna figure this out through. I'm gonna actually research the history of swatting and
Let's
see
do it.
what's
Let's do
going
it.
on.
Let's do it.
Let me see. Their follow up was people do speak out about swatting. It's universally thought to be fucked up, except for trolls. Right. But moving on to our final topic, Joker 2.
Now I'm gonna say something that is, I don't care if it's unpopular. I don't care, man.
I think I know what this is.
There's this whole narrative surrounding Joker 1 where it's like, here's the excuse for men to be it's just another angry man because he can't get a woman. Actually, what Joker was about, if you're a comic reader, because that's all that matters, right? It's a story about one of the worst cities to ever exist in comic lore. And if Batman is the hero they deserve, the Joker is the villain that Gotham deserves. And
that's well said.
This is the last thing that Grace Randolph said that I thought was very poignant. And she's the one that made that point. Watching the Joker become the Joker in that proves to you how corrupt Gotham is. And that Ra's al Ghul, the wrong type of Ra's al Ghul from Batman Begin, was absolutely correct. And
absolutely.
That's why I love the first one. I'll say that. So there's this whole narrative around it in something incels and pop. I'm like, you people don't read comics. Sit down and shut up.
Right. And so that is the thing. People take different things, and it is weird. It's true. People made this movie. This movie was like an anthem.
This
movie was their anthem of.
I loved it.
The frustrated male or something. I don't know what they turned it into.
It's nonsense. And, yeah, those are the same type of people that call cops on political pundits. But go ahead.
You are right, because you know what it is. In every incel's own narrative, they are the victim. They are absolutely like, they're like, they were wrong. But I would say that I don't think at any point Arthur Fleck was a victim. He was bad to the bone from the beginning.
Yeah, he was completely unaware of the fact that he was a victim, and he was a legitimate victim. When you look,
he was a victim, but I'm saying he was not an innocent. This isn't like an innocent guy. He was a shitty guy. He was just a powerless shitty guy.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, the funny thing was he wasn't even a shitty guy up until the point where he started doing shitty things. He was just an abuse survivor who didn't know he was an abuse survivor. He just some weirdo that lived with his mom.
Weirdo lived with his mom. Turned out to be a billionaire's illegitimate son. Like, here's what it is. I like the movie. I like it a lot. I don't love the movie, and it's part of this thing where I can't stand the de-superheroification of comic movies.
Right.
And they're like, why do we need a guy who dresses like a bat? Why don't we just get an angry cop with a tattoo of a bat? It'll be gritty and realistic. It's like, shut the fuck up. I want to see a motherfucker in tights with a cape, dressed like an animal, kicking people's asses. That's what a superhero
on doing his thing.
And so my argument is, and this is my argument for a lot of things, if you make a Joker where they're like, but you can't bring Batman into it, it wouldn't make sense. If you have made a Joker movie that can't fit a Batman, then you have not made a good Joker movie.
Bro, you know where they failed with the Joker? Is they failed making the Batman. That movie should have been tied to the Joker.
Absolutely.
You literally had the best layup in history.
Yes, they should. Here's what I might have linked the Joker better or Batman better if it was connected.
100%.
And if it was Arthur Fleck who was in the cell at the end of the movie, that would have blown my mind.
Nice guy, by the way. Joaquin, one of the nicest guys I've ever met, man. He was just.
Oh, I'm sure he's a great guy. He's a great guy, Mr. Artsy. But so have you heard the rumors? Not even rumors. It's official.
You didn't want to tell me. I didn't want you to tell me before the show, so hit me with it.
They're saying that this is confirmed that Joker 2 is going to be a musical. And they're going to bring in Harley Quinn, and they said they're in talks with Lady Gaga. To be, I'm assuming Harley Quinn.
Dude, if that's true, I'm out.
That's right, guys. You didn't hear it wrong. A musical. A Joker musical on screen.
That's
what he said.
So So go ahead, you lay out the story. I want you to build the story of a Joker musical. Go for it.
I not even I'm that. Not even I'm that artsy. That is ridiculous. I mean, I'm at a loss for words. They have stupid ass musical episodes on shows. You're telling me now that movies are going to have installments? Will Captain
Right.
America 4 also be a musical? It'll be a hip hop musical because he's a black Captain America, right?
Oh my god.
I'm saying, where will it end if this happens?
Bro, I'm just go ahead, entertain the audience. I'm just reading a little bit about this. Go ahead. I just want to get that. It says I didn't know anything about it, so I just want to get pulled up a little bit.
Right. So apparently Lady Gaga is in talks for it. Or is the front runner on the short list or whatever. Obviously, Lady Gaga's dying to become like an actress. She always it's really horrible that Lady Gaga once at one point literally in a speech said, I wanted to be an actress and I couldn't make it, so I became a singer, as if that's the default, insulting everyone who ever wanted to be a singer. Good, fuck you, Lady Gaga. But she's dying to be in anything. She was dying to jump on any bandwagon. So this is going to be her attempt to jump into superheroes, but it's going to be a musical. I mean, this is just nonsense. Lady says no to the musicals. Absolutely.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm super petty. I know this. Pubs. There's the article. That's swatting.
We thought he was looking up Joker.
That kid called the fucking pigs on another COD player for
what he just said to you, Pubs, is you are too young to know the history of swatting. That's what he just said.
But back to the Joker, man. And Pubs is right in their assessment of it too, but it most certainly had to do with a COD player and being mad at another COD player in regards to the gameplay level.
He is efficient. You gotta admit, he is efficient.
Bro, I'm telling you this right now, man. If it's a musical, I don't want anything to do with it. That's not what I'm coming for. In fact,
sorry. I already didn't like the idea for a sequel. Any sequel. That movie doesn't feel like it needs a sequel, right?
No, I actually did like the idea of a sequel for the Joker.
But are they going to keep going without Batman in it? I mean, what the fuck?
No, man. Here's the thing, man. This is where it's your writer's mind. It's because you have such a brilliant mind. You don't understand that sometimes you got to do something to rebound. So you're always thinking about how to build cosmos, of love, romancing the cosmos, right? Yeah. But in actuality, all they need to do to make a Joker sequel is just to let us know what happened after the events of Joker 1. They left us with a thirst, right? The city's rioting. Bruce Wayne's parents get killed in a way that's more interesting than I think in the comics, because it turns out that guy that shot his parents wasn't just some indigent fool who was just like, I need money, Gotham sucks.
Right.
Because he's some psychopath who's been completely triggered and enthralled by all this great fun that's being had. Because another psychopath, there's a great story there. Then we get some year one Batman. But you know why this falls flat on its face? Because it's Warner Brothers. Even if I mapped it out for them and gave them that, they were like, I don't know. How are we going to get Lady Gaga in this?
And that's what is probably happening. They're like, you want to do a sequel? The director's like, yeah. They're like, you got to find a way to jam Lady Gaga in there. And then he's thinking, and what the thing I'm scared that he's thinking, he's like, Harley Quinn.
I don't understand.
She could be Harley Quinn. How she's not a Harley Quinn.
I don't think this is real, by the way. I think it's cat. I don't know how Todd Phillips would go for anything like this.
This sounds insane.
It sounds like the biggest cap, but it's Warner Brothers, right? At this point, there's gotta be
anything they do is believable because they just do some really bad ideas.
Kevin Feige's showing up to the meetings dressed as someone else, and he's like, it'd be a great idea.
So I think he's been incepting them.
Wait. It makes sense that they want to do this. The WB, Warner Brothers, WB, Buffy. One of its worst episodes was a musical. No, you loved it. Oh, it was on UPN, but it was still.
I do like that episode. I didn't like Willow singing, but the rest of it was very good.
I like Giles. Giles is
great.
Shit is stupid, man.
You tell me late at night when you're alone, no one's around. You don't put on the soundtrack to Buffy's musical episode.
No,
Just
because
jam out.
I'm not a serial killer, right? There's no one tied up in this room back here, and I'm not going to start playing Motley Crue. I don't want to talk about the Joker anymore. I do want to give you your flowers on something else, man, that you were right about. So you folks are going to hear me yet again do something that Mantis is emotionally incapable of doing, which is admitting I'm right when I'm right. But you weren't 100% right. Top Gun, man. You know, people are loving it. I do think the Rav.
Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
I think the Rav ripping American era might be back. Some of you are too young to remember that the late mid 80s to early 90s, it was a great time for those of you who were like, I love America. Like every movie was about American greatness. You had Hulk Hogan, you know, No Holds Barred.
Oh yeah,
Sylvester Stallone.
Sylvester Stallone, a clearly foreign man with a thick accent, always played an American secret agent or GI or some shit throughout it.
Oh, Pubs, stop it. Pubs is like, I'm so young and dumb. I'm so sorry. Stop it.
Well, I gotta put it on view. But Pubs, you don't feel bad. We get sunned up all the time and stuff. I was wrong about something today earlier, right? I reported on a rumor today, and so I'm wrong too. You know, but I'm just saying, young people don't know shit.
Cursing at us.
But Top Gun, Top Gun, I don't. Here's the thing. I didn't love the first one. I liked the first one. I didn't love the first one. Should I go see this movie?
Yo, Eamon went to go see it, and he absolutely enjoyed it. He didn't text me about. He doesn't text me about any movies ever, but he was like, "This was a great movie," and people were really enjoying it. I guess some part of us wants the good old fashioned classic action movie, but this is where it's different for me, right? Like I never felt like comic book movies were taking the place of action. I felt like a comic book enjoyer who got to see his favorite characters on screen. I think a lot of people have weird feelings towards comic book movies in the negative capacity where I'm like, why do you hate them so much? And I'm like, bro, what does that have to do with you? Have you ever stopped to think that maybe so many bad classical action movies came out and that's why that genre died?
Oh,
Are we
of course.
getting some of the worst movies?
Everything was a ripoff of Die Hard at a certain point.
Bro, you know what the greatest action movie is ever? But it's a sci-fi movie, and I can't get people to admit this. They won't hear my argument. Predator. The original Predator movie.
Predator's amazing. Again, Arnold Schwarzenegger playing an American GI with a thick, he doesn't bother to learn an American accent.
Lethal Weapon 1, 2, and 3, and hell, even 4. He had an Australian guy. Right?
Yeah.
That's back when Mel Gibson actually had an accent, and they had to explain that in the movie.
Had to explain why he had an Australian accent because he didn't figure out how to talk American. But those are great movies. Those are great movies.
Come on, Van Damme might have ruined the American action genre, and then he made a comeback.
Obviously, there was an oversaturation of like really bad. Steven Seagal, I don't know. I never liked any of his stuff. I never bought into this keto shit.
Public friend says I think we should demand the execution of Tom Cruise.
and so this is the thing, and public, this should scare you. This should absolutely scare you. So I believe old school America is making a comeback. Old school America is making a comeback. That's what's happening right now. And I think you are right. I think your first assessment when you were saying people want to wave the flag and love it, that they are making the pendulum swings back and forth.
Yes, it does.
I know people are like, yay, we're now in a socialist liberal society where gender and problems will all go away. No, you're going to have that for a little bit, but after a while, that pendulum is going to start swinging back. And then, middle America is going to come back and they're going to say, kill the terrorists.
Bro, here's the thing though, man, about this whole Top Gun America rap ripping shit, right? Before it was just, now you got to hear me out on this. This is your Uncle Curmudgeon speaking to you. Before it wasn't that big of a deal because it was the dominant society. Hey, you okay? Okay. The dog is making sounds over there. Now you have other groups identifying with the American Rav ripping narrative.
So for instance, I was
black and brown people identifying with it as much vocally openly.
So this blew my mind. One of the heads of the Proud Boys, his name is Enrique Toro.
He's Cuban, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, and he's like not even a light skinned Cuban. I mean, he's a lighter skinned Cuban, but you know what I'm saying. He does have brown in him, and I was like, I thought they were white supremacists,
Yeah.
but I guess they're not. I don't know what. I think they're just super patriots.
Yeah, they're like the patriot version of BTS. You got to do like Brandon B. Tatum, a black man who used to be a police officer who's defending the inaction of the cops in Texas. Right? Letting you know the stupidity knows no bounds, no virtue limit, bro. It's 1 hour and 48 minutes in, man. We're about to get super political, and I don't want to do it. This episode we managed not to do it. So
we don't have to get crazy. Public says, yeah, Hispanics are white now. Oh wow. They decided to jump on that side rather than stay with the blacks. So like, you know what I'm saying? They're like, you're getting shot over here, and then they ran over to the other side. Speaking of not getting political.
Oh my god. Oh, actually, you know what's funny? As we get into the wrap here, man. Yo, Izzy, what's good, my brother?
Izzy, what up?
Talking about something when my topic for Dope Dynamics on Wednesday is going to be: did segregation hurt more than it helped?
Wait, what?
Did desegregation hurt more than it helped?
That's your topic?
Yeah. I dare you to go look up the state of the African American community when we were forced to work together versus the state of the African American community.
Well, now you're forcing me to talk about it. Because what I'm saying is when you change drastic social change, there's always going to be a real rocky start.
Listen, you don't have to talk about anything you don't want to talk about. I'm just saying
like it's exactly like that. Like,
calm down. I just want to ask you how
I'm
many
very calm.
how many black hospitals are there now compared to civil rights era?
I mean, I obviously don't have the numbers in front of me. I didn't prepare for this hyper political racial conversation that you didn't prepare me for. But I'm just saying, like, I guess that is all the time we have today, folks. Of course, he's gonna go talk about it on his other show. He doesn't really want to argue with a real motherfucker. I'm sorry to everyone on Dope Dynamics. I love you guys.
Yo, what do we want to plug, man?
Well, we obviously brunch with Fat Mantis Tuesday through Fridays, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. I'm switching up the different streams. We're doing all sorts of things. Wednesday, we got Rogue Planet 8 p.m. this week. I have no idea what I'm doing, but it's going to be a good time. And then Men Supporting Men at some point, on some day, somewhere. You never know. It's the stream that sneaks up and comes out of nowhere and just boom. And what about you, brother?
Oh, shout out to Power Love Latinas. Shout out to Enough Said Radio. Power Love Latinas on Thursdays, Mothership Mondays on Mondays, Enough Said Radio Fridays and Saturday. We got public streaming Thursday through Saturday, I believe. And then, of course, the Hold Up TV bringing you all your favorite content. We're really rebranding ourselves as a network. And then again, don't forget, Mantis and I have something great. Mantis, I, and a few other people have something great dropping on July 1st. Keep your ears open for that. All the promos in all the world. And we got a special announcement. I think you know her. You love her. But I'm not going to say her name. She knows who she is. Hold Up TV Network's got another great content creator that's about to break out with another amazing show. I'm really excited about the future.
Oh, right. So many surprises, but it's going to be amazing. We've got a lot of stuff coming up. Can't wait for July 1st. We'll make the official announcement of what exactly it is this project is going to be in. I'm thinking on the 24th, June 24th. So it'll be 1 week out, 1 week before premiere. And we're going to do a hype train that whole week. It's going to be amazing.
Mantis is going to be sucking people off for promotion points. Good night.